Really special show for you today. We have with us, we have Travis and Christy Flowers, who have the most unbelievable new business in all of Las Vegas. It is just, it's something else. It's called The Combine. They are the founders of The Combine.
Yes.
And how would you describe The Combine? And in just a couple sentences. We're going to play a video in just a minute so you can see, get sort of the full picture of it. But how would you describe it?
I would describe the Combine as being the most technological basketball training experience in the country. I don't care if you're a beginner, I don't care if you're intermediate or pro, you will be astounded at the level of technology we have.
I mean, this place, with the high-tech things that are in there, the sensors all over the place, the floor is better than the NBA floors.
Absolutely.
And so you've got all these professional basketball players coming in to see it and visit, and I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. So let's run the little video so you can just and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Awesome. If you're a beginner, if you are intermediate or a pro, I really believe that this is the only place in the world that you can get this level of training with this level of detail and this level of technology under one roof.
So there we have it, The Combine. Now I see you have your Combine shirt on.
Oh yes.
Look at that.
Always.
And doing a little advertising, are you?
Oh, of course, always. Everything is branded.
I got to tell you, I brought my son over there, Lucas, and as you know, and he's out of the country right now, but he had, I think, 2 days before he left, right? So we just found out about you 2 days before he left, and he's so excited. I mean, he just was incredible. Matter of fact, I want to tell you about customer service with this place. I drop him off on the day he left in the morning. I drive up, I pull up, and Brandon, who is there, who is just amazing, is one of the employees there. He comes walking out, and he said, he shakes his hand, he puts his hand out like this and shakes my hand and said, "How are you, sir?" And I said, "Great, I'm just dropping off Lucas." I said, "I'll take him in and drop him off." He says, "Don't worry about it." He says, "I got him. He's in good hands. Don't worry about a thing." He actually came out and did that. I don't know how you train people to do that, but you got incredible help there.
Absolutely. We take pride in our customer service. You know, everything starts with customer service, ends with customer service, and we really hammer down on our guys about, you know, the full experience. If customers come in, they don't really enjoy the experience, they're probably not going to come back. So, you know, I'm just excited to have Brandon aboard. He's been very instrumental in our growth, and we want everybody to kind of conduct themselves that way.
Well, you have a whole team of people there that are equally as good, but Brandon's just sort of special, I think. But,
Absolutely.
So you were a professional ball player?
Yes, so I played in Pordenone, Italy. I was fortunate at 19 years old. I was All-Year Player of the Year there, 1998. So, you know, I'm old now, so I kind of got sidelined by some medical issues, but, you know, I'm doing what I still love to do, and which is give back to the kids.
So now the Combine, of course, kids can come there. You have a place for kids, but is there an age limit, or is it for all ages?
No, it's, you know, realistically, if they can dribble a basketball, if they can kind of talk and function, the Combine has a spot for you. So we like to say, you know, beginning age about 6, 7 years old, and then it's unlimited. So we've had guys as as old as 60, 70 coming in and shooting the ball. So it's just, you know, everybody's welcome.
So hope for me, maybe, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always hope.
I guess that's right. Well, when you stand up, you're a little bit taller than the average guy. So
correct.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'8", basically.
6'8", okay.
Yep.
And you married a girl who is about not 6'8", not 6'8", right?
Absolutely. Christy, she has a tremendous background of dance, and she was a high-level gymnast as well too. So from bringing that component into the facility and the training and things like that, I think is very important.
Absolutely. So, Christy, what are some of the special things about the Combine that you wouldn't find anywhere else in the world?
Well, technology you can find in a lot of different places, but I think it's the way that we incorporate it into our training. So from our dribbling stations that are only found in a handful of NBA facilities, to our technology with our balls. We have certain balls that can be scanned and you can watch yourself do a workout as you're watching that. Wow. To our shooting machines that will tell you the arc, the speed, and measure that, from a new technology that we have on our vertical jumpings that can tell you your vert. It's such a monitor, that can tell you your vert, running or standing, and kinetic energy. So those are just some of the things that make us
Well, it's
different.
really exciting. Well, listen, let's not waste any time. Let's do a commercial for the Combine. Sure. Where do we find it? What's the address?
Yeah, it's going to be www.thecombine.lasvegas.com.
Okay, and if we live in Las Vegas, where do we go to
absolutely.
check it out?
7260 Dean Martin Drive, and that's Las Vegas, Nevada, 89118.
89118. Okay, so that's right at the corner, essentially, of Warm Springs and Dean Martin.
That's correct.
And it's
can't miss us.
You can't miss it. Yeah.
It's wrapped in the windows. Train hard, fear none. So we really believe
that's the motto, huh?
Yes,
train hard, fear none. Fear none.
Yep.
So we just opened.
Yeah.
Sort of brand new, right?
We are. We just opened, but we have been doing this all around the country. We just finished an exciting project in Miami, Florida for Victor Oladipo, which is one of the NBA superstars. So we teamed up with our partners, Michael Lancaster and High Impossible Training. And, we have one of the most exciting curriculums taught around the country. It's most well known as well, too. So we train folks from Asia, India, Uzbekistan. It doesn't matter. Wow. We train them from all around the country. So we're really excited to bring it to Las Vegas.
Now, I know there's a lot of pros in town in Las Vegas right now. There's some special event that's
Absolutely.
happening.
The Summer League. Summer League is huge in Nevada. And we're excited to have a lot of our guys coming in. We're excited to be working with some of the pros that are coming in, need some extra training, want to get shots up, and understand kind of where they're at. So we're hoping to see a lot of folks that come in for Summer League. And we've got some very special folks in town already, so they're excited about what we're doing.
Well, I happen to know that it's some of the biggest names in all of basketball, right? That are going to be visiting your place.
Absolutely.
Which is incredibly exciting.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we hope to see Victor Oladipo, Brandon Ingram, some of those guys kind of coming in. LeBron James will be in town, so hopefully he'll stop by or whatever else. And, it's just going to be exciting to see, what the reaction is from the pros. I know the ones that have already stopped in to the location have already been astonished of this level, which is really, we consider the next level of training.
Well, if you can impress a pro, then you're doing something.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting when I was visiting is the machine you have that allows you to just take a lot of shots. Now, the average guy in a regular gym, how many shots would he take in an hour?
I would say probably 100 to 200.
Our
machines allow you to take up to 1,300 shots in an hour. Yes. So a lot of our athletes that come in, they have never experienced anything like that. So a lot of athletes come in and say, "Man, I'm the best. I get 500 shots up." I'm like, "No, but we're talking about game shots." Yeah. So we set the machine to about a tempo 2, which is a 2-second delay, and by 2-minute mark, they're pretty much exhausted. Yeah. So, we like to really test folks' stamina. That machine also allows us to measure their heart rate while they're actually working out. So we want to make sure their heart rate is within the optimal range. So it's really a cool feature that we have there.
What are some of the other cool things that you can do?
Yeah, so some of the other things we can do with the NOAA system, we can measure their arc. We can measure the speed of the shot. We can measure the depth. We can measure the left and right where it hits the rim. The optimal arc, which most people don't know, scientifically proven, is 45 degrees. So when the ball meets the rim, which should be 11 inches from front to middle, more shots go in. So that's when you hear that swoosh sound that all the kids and all the pros, everybody likes to hear. You know, that's basically how you get it. And then we have the laser that Lucas and some of the other kids they love to play with, and that's our ball handling stations. The guy that did that is Marcus. He teamed up with Mark Cuban that owns the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And so this particular piece of equipment is about 8 NBA facilities and various colleges across the country. So we're really fortunate to have that featured in the Combine Las Vegas.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Now, I happen to know that the Combine is sort of a family affair.
Yes.
And you have a couple boys that are in there with you all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell us about. I know you have. I was in there the other day. I was bringing some people in just to show them because it's so phenomenal. You guys were gone, but your young guy, he's 9 years old.
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
And he was in there. He couldn't get in to get his shoes because they were locked in your office. So he was playing in flip-flops with a bunch of guys, and he's whipping them all. You know, he's pretty good.
Firecracker.
He is. You know what? We tell people they're proud of work. It's really exciting to see from where they started to where they're at now, and I would contribute that to our training methods. I'm very detail-oriented training coach. That's what folks all around the country know me as. Sometimes it's very tough to train with a guy like me. Unfortunately, my kids have to deal with me. They don't get to go to another household. They have to deal with me 24/7. But yeah, my son, they have him ranked as number 3 player in the nation.
This is your 13-year-old.
Yes, this is my 13-year-old.
The scientist.
This is the scientist.
The chemist.
And
the chemist.
Yes, this is the chemist. And you know, people are very enamored with his skill set at 13. But I tell folks that he has really had to work at it. And a lot of the shooting and some of the things that we kind of hone in on, you know, he's trying to get to a mastery level. And at 13, we've had pros that come in and train with him and say, hey, man, guys are getting paid $20 million, can't even shoot with you. So I think that's just kind of a...
Wait a minute. Say that again a little slower.
So...
Guys getting $20
million.
Can't shoot with the 13-year-old.
Can't shoot with the 13-year-old.
You can outshoot him.
Flatly outshoot him. You know, this kid will put up, you know, 1,000 shots, 500 shots a day or more, and he'll shoot pretty high. But he is definitely a perfectionist, and I think that's what drives him. You know, if he misses one free throw, he'll shoot 50 free throws in a row. If he misses one, you would think that the world's coming to an end. So, you know, that's the thing that drives, I think, some of that good shooting and those good habits. The 9-year-old is a God-given natural.
Yes.
Really?
We're working on his attention span to training.
Yeah.
But you know, being the younger brother, you're really fortunate to have an older brother to kind of beat up on you. So he's learned early. And that's what helps him when he's playing these older guys. He really has no fear playing anyone. So most of the time, if you see Bryson in there, you'll see him trying to play some of the older guys, which is pretty neat to see.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it's just amazing. So I would imagine that part of the secret to getting really good and you're really moving to a high level is the amount of shots that you shoot. And that's what you do. That's sort of the baseline of everything, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We spend a lot of time just really doing some unorthodox things. You know, since Trenton was small, you know, we're using some tools that relatively you would never find in most gyms. You know, it's kind of our secret sauce, if you will. But you know, we try to give everyone an amazing training experience. I think that, you know, it has not been done before. And I think if, you know, what we've done is taken the technology, we've paired it with the best trainers, it's a winning recipe, evidently. You know, we've seen a lot of facilities that are competitors that are more autonomous, and becomes a babysitting mechanism more so than training. So we have really tried to step away from that. Even though we have all this fancy equipment, we really tried to make sure that our trainers are doing the best job they can do, and offer just a new style to the game. I think you know, a lot of the NBA guys are always looking for something new. They're always looking for something that's a little bit more cutting edge. You know, it's amazing when you have guys that make $100 million and then you kind of show them a new way. You know, it's like them being a kid again. And I think every athlete is looking at how to get the advantage. So I think we offer an advantage.
It's really interesting. Well, let's talk about you guys a little bit.
Sure.
So you got 2 kids?
Yes.
We have 3.
Oh, you have 3 kids?
Yep,
Ah.
yep.
We have a daughter. She's 11. She hates basketball.
Okay. Does she come in too? Is she in the combine a lot?
Yeah, you'll meet her.
She comes
you'll
in.
meet her
She
there.
likes to work the front desk and
Okay.
shoot around. If you saw her shoot, you would think she played basketball because she has better form than most people.
Yes.
But she will not touch a ball. She's
My
gymnast,
goodness.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, maybe that's a good thing, huh?
Oh yeah,
Right.
5'7", I think.
Almost 5'8".
5'7", 5'8",
She's
11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Very tall.
I wonder where she got that.
I do too. She is growing like a weed, and so
Yeah.
she has an opportunity to play the game.
Yeah.
But I think when brothers dominate the sport in the household, it's
Hard to compete, probably.
it's hard to compete.
Yeah.
I think some days she's like, yeah, I want to do it, and she wants to be a part of it. And I think some other days she's like, no, you guys can have it.
So you played in Europe. What year did you start?
That was 1998.
In '98. And
Yeah,
then what year did you stop? in Europe?
So, 97, 98, should I say. So I stopped in 98, left, went back to college, and had
Did you play college ball?
I did. I played.
So after being a pro, they let you play
yeah,
college?
so I didn't take any money. So for the record,
Okay.
went the money to keep my eligibility. So
Oh.
I was very fortunate to do it very young. Not too many guys had that opportunity at that time, and decided to go back to college. And my agent was saying, hey, you need to come back and play. Had a little fun in college.
Which
and,
college
and then
you go to?
I went to Sierra College first, and then I was recruited by Sac State.
Okay.
And so had a lot of opportunities there. Given some unfortunate situations that most athletes experience in college, kind of took a little bit of the love away from me. But I did have an opportunity to work out with a couple of professional teams and do some things like that, and work out with some of the trainers there. And then, when I got to that point where I was looking to go back, I had, of course, I met my wife and so forth, and we had moved to the East Coast, and found that I had atrial fibrillation. So,
Oh, my goodness.
yep. So at a young age, to find that you have atrial fibrillation in and out of the hospital, kind of sidelined, me with going back and my aspirations to continue on. So,
Yeah. Things happen.
the big man has a plan all the time. And I tell people, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I'm finding more love and joy working with my kids, working with other kids, working with guys that's playing the game, aspiring to make it pro or the pros or whatever it may be. And so I'm really blessed.
So you had a couple of boys that just might make it to the big leagues, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. That's their goal.
Yeah.
We've always said, if this is what you want to do and this is your heart's desire, we will support you 100%. If you say, no, we're done, we're done. But I have given them a contract of outing. Trenton has passed that deadline, so he will continue on his path.
Can't get out now.
He can't get out now. Bryson is still at that age where he can exit out of his contract if he needs to.
Well, what's the limit?
And so, we're about 12, 13.
Yeah.
13 is kind of the limit. When we put this much time, and I've got some gray hairs now from all the training.
Yeah.
I've said, I've paid my price, so now you got to put your time in. So that's kind of where we're at.
So now you're 13-year-old Trenton. What's it like to have some college scouts and people like that looking at a 13-year-old? I mean, that's got to be sort of different, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. To have a kid that has talent like that, I frankly was not at his level when I was coming up. I mean, he's able to do far more things than I was able to do. But it is a little overwhelming sometimes when folks are calling you and inviting you places or whatever else. We try not to get into the hype and the marketing of it. I tell him the rankings don't matter. No matter what what people say about you, how great you are. Just stay humble and continue to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key message I like to get to all the young guys out there. So many great kids around the country, but just being humble, and continue your work ethic, and not getting complacent is the key if you really want to make it to that level. So we stay on him. We encourage him to keep his grades up. In our household, student first, athlete second. So without being a good student, basketball's off the table. And just being a good community citizen and a good person. At 13, it's kind of challenging. You got it.
That's a rough age.
It's a rough age. It's a range of emotions. You're almost wanting to pull your own hair out.
And he's very much a late bloomer. So
he's very much a late bloomer.
He's still in that stage where he hasn't hit puberty. He's very much a boy, but you see him on the court and you think he's a killer. So it's two different alter egos, really.
He's a boy man.
Boy man.
Is.
It's a lot of times people see him and try to distinguish between the basketball player Trenton and the kid Trenton, right? Of
course, you're right.
Totally two different people. The basketball guy is a whole nother guy, and then the kid Trenton is just a boy.
He's just a kid,
and that's why we try to keep him away from all the things that he has. This summer, kind of an interesting story. Trenton's ranked on one of the ranking body websites, and I was called by the owner and asked me to take over as the director of this particular organization, which is MSE on the East Coast. And so we have Trenton will be playing kind of on an all-star dream team. It's like the USA basketball dream team for pros, but we have kids from various parts of the country that's going to be playing here. I'm in Vegas. We're trying to kick off one of the events in July. But it's pretty fascinating to see 13-year-old 6'6" kids, 6'6" at 13, to see all these kids with tremendous skill to be on one team. So
now your son's not 6'6" though.
No, he's 5'10".
Yeah, so he's going to be playing with 6'6" kids.
Yes, he's the shortest on the team.
So
he's the shortest on the team, and he's highly skilled. He's a highly skilled guy and very precision like in the things that he does, and so it's been a cool thing. But Trent's been playing in the men's league here in Las Vegas as well too. So he's done fantastic, averaging between 17 and 22 points in the gold division here in town. So he shocked a lot of grown men that's tried to challenge him on the court at 13 years old. So which is pretty fascinating to watch, that it's your child. I'm watching my child. So I'm usually coaching and training. So when I get those opportunities to actually sit back and I'm like, wow, man, I look at his growth. It's just pretty amazing to see.
Absolutely.
And the good news is he's supposed to be 6'8" to 6'10". That's what they give him a range. So he hasn't grown yet, but when he does, he'll be skilled.
Yeah.
A skilled big.
Yeah, I come from a big family, and some of my cousins are legends in the NBA as well. Charles Jones, Caldwell Jones, Major Jones, they're superstars.
Caldwell Jones, your cousin?
Caldwell Jones, and he passed a couple years back, whatever else. But I was in the home with Charles Jones, his wife Audrey. It was kind of my second parents, if you will. And so I've been around the NBA for a long time, and been very blessed to do that and see it from early age and be able to ask all the questions and as a young boy, and then have my own experiences as well too, and then now I'm a part of other kids and players' lives, and it's pretty awesome to kind of be on this ride right now.
It's got to be an amazing feeling, for both of you to pour into young people's lives in an incredibly positive way, and just, you change their life forever. They're, if they hadn't met you, then their life, who knows what could happen to them. But
absolutely,
you keep them on the straight and narrow, and
I mean, myself and my wife become like parents to a lot of these kids.
I imagine.
A lot of these kids may not have a stable home, stable mom and dad at home, and so, I just had one of the top kids in the state of Nevada in the gym the other day. I mean, he's just signed with a college, full ride scholarship, and just talking to him, in a couple of minutes, I changed a lot of things, and he was just blown away. He had brought another young man with him, and some things that some folks had never showed him over the years, that's going to help take him to the next level, right?
Yeah.
And he was blown away about that. But I told him, I said, you know what? The basketball is something that we do, but I want to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
And one of my trainers had some experiences with him that wasn't as positive, and I got to talk to him, and I got to be mano a mano with him and say, hey, look, man, you're going to college, and you need to make sure that you keep your head on straight. You need to make sure that you're a true example, a good example, and make sure that people respect you for you as a person, not the player. The game is easy to you. Where everybody sees that you have a load of talent. This kid has amazing leaping ability, very well known for that, and he's just a good player. So that's not the hard part. The hard part is his character. Right, and that's what I was more interested in. And so to see somebody like that with tears in their eyes and then come back and say, you know what, you're right, I took a lot of things for granted and so forth, those are the relationships that we're more interested in. Those are the things that I think makes us who we are and separates us, because it's easy to get labeled something in today's society, right?
Exactly.
No matter if you're running a business or whatever else, and people always have something negative about you, but we always commonly say, folks that know us, folks that spend some time with us, know that we're more vested in people. Facts.
Well, and that's what I like about, when I first got to know you guys. And I mean, the gym is very impressive, all the high-tech stuff, obviously. But, it's really about relationships.
It is.
That's what life's about, right?
Absolutely.
You guys figured that out, obviously, and somehow you've been able to work that into your staff's way of doing business, and so, it's sort of spread out, right?
Sure.
Kind of the ripple effect, I guess. But let me ask you a personal question, if I could. So, Christy, let's start with you.
Okay.
So, Travis is an impressive guy when you meet him. He's a pretty amazing guy.
Absolutely.
What if you were to pick one thing? What's the single most important quality that he has?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. His tenacity.
Yeah. Do you have any story that you can tell about that?
I think so many times in our life, and we've been married for 17 years, people have counted him out. We've had little, we've had much, but he never, ever stopped shooting for every goal that God puts in front of him and that he knows he's destined to reach. So the thing I appreciate that the most about him, he just never lets a circumstance define him. He's always reaching, and I love that about him.
How do you think he learned all those things?
Well, I like to say his mom raised him right, but I always tell him that when I came into his life, I saved him.
That's the number one answer.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's very good. Well, let's reverse that now. What do you think is number one quality of Christy?
Her heart.
Yeah.
Character and her heart. She's an amazing person. I love her dearly. Every day it's like spending time with her this week. It's like, man, realize how much you love your wife, and you see her pure heart, and she cares about everyone. I mean, to a fault sometimes,
Definitely to a fault.
I mean, to a fault sometimes, and I'm just like, man, but that's why I married her. When I met her, I wasn't in the best spot, just mentally and exhausted from college, and and all the things that go with that piece. But she definitely was the game changer in my life, and made sure that I stayed on track and bend my backbone up and down, and life presents all these roller coaster events, but she's been very consistent. Her heart's been truly amazing in our journey of 17 plus years.
Wow.
Well, you asked me what makes you guys different, and I gave you a technological answer, but in all honesty, not all gyms have a Travis.
No.
This is a ministry for us. We give back to the youth, and it's important that people understand that we're here to help anyone. It doesn't matter if they have the money or don't have the money, but we don't close the door on anybody, and that's not what we want to do. We really have hearts to help everyone, and I think that that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, most corporations, they there's this black and white, right? And if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. And
right.
Go for it. You know, for us, first, the Lord was on this project. Record time, we built this in 4 months. I challenge any corporation to step up.
If you've seen it, right? It's 4 months.
If you see it, I was looking at some video, just came across some video the other day. We were out and about, and I said, wow, I really need to show folks this was nothing but a canvas. It was open. 4 months record time. Yeah, 4 months. I challenge any corporation to come build with us. We don't have a big team, so God's given us a vision and to be builders, and we've done that.
And He'll give you provision.
And provision. And so, but to add to that is we take a different approach in our business and what we call the ministry as well too. And we have folks that literally can't afford it and need some help, and you know, we're just sponsoring kids and things like that all the time. And so we wanted to make this affordable and accessible. I think those are the two key things about the Combine, is it has to be affordable and it has to be accessible. And what I mean by accessibility is that every kid, like Lucas, Bryson, Trenton, and so forth in the world, would never really have this type of experience at their level and their age. You would have to make it to a pro status to be in a pro facility to be have access to this type of equipment. So we really pride ourselves on being the first to make it accessible. And then the affordability. Most of the time when you get into high tech, it costs money. Anytime you say high tech, different experience, you better believe it's going to cost you.
Right.
So a lot of the equipment may be in some other facilities, but they have one piece of it, and as you know, we have multiple pieces of a lot of this equipment, right? It's really expensive, just on an hourly rate. So what we charge in memberships is usually 1 hour. You know, 1 month is usually an hour in most of our competitors. They might only have one piece of equipment. So our goal was to make it accessible and affordable. I think we've done that. And we're willing to help folks out that need the help. And so we don't want to turn anybody away. I say, I do not want basketball to be that thing that separates us, divides us. It's supposed to be a game that brings us together. So we have really made this accessible and affordable, and we're going to continue to do that. And I tell people, if there's an opportunity to make it free, I would love to make it free. So, you know, whatever I got to do to keep working, to be able to have that financial freedom, to be able to make this free or even lower cost, that's my goal ultimately.
So let's talk about that now. So if somebody has a young person in their family that loves basketball and like to maybe participate,
sure.
What would it cost them? Are the prices on your website?
Yeah, the prices on our website. Okay. But our prices start at $39. So if they want to come in and just do like a day pass, they can do a day pass or a run and shoot or whatever else. But for 10 and under, $69 a month. They can come in every day of the week for open gyms and things like that. They just want to shoot around. But they also, part of that is 2 trainings per week with the trainers and the technology and everything else. So it's not like other gyms where kids can just come in and shoot around and they're kind of left unattended. No, they're in a class learning a skill set. The parents get to pick. They can, once they sign up, they can see our schedule. We do have our own app, so they can go in there and then they can pick and choose the classes they want their child to attend.
Oh wow!
So our max package is what we call the VIP. We also offer recovery with that package. We allow them to book their own stations, whether that be shooting stations, ball handling stations. They can come in 30 out of 30 or 31 out of 31 days with a trainer. And I think no one else has done that in our industry that I know of, where you have unlimited access to the best training, the technology, the recovery. We have meal plans. We have a juice bar, as you know, that's coming up that we're opening. We're very excited about that, and just trying to show kids there's a better way to do it from a nutritional value standpoint, from the parents to see what which is different with us is that, you know, it's not just about basketball. We really want to offer some different things that no one has offered. So a lot of our classes, some of them have anything to do with dribbling a basketball. Might be learning how to eat. It might be learning how to stretch. It might be talking about character and motivation and mentorship. A lot of it is that, because a lot of these kids, they have skill, but they have no motivation, right? And so, skill without motivation is not a good combination, right? So we're trying to instill a lot of this other things in our classes.
Now, the motivation without skill can be fixed.
Right,
You
exactly.
can fix that, right?
Exactly.
Very good.
Sure.
Now, the other thing you mentioned was a ministry.
Yes.
So how important is faith in your lives?
Oh,
the most important.
Yeah.
it's the biggest thing. It's who we are, is what we stand for. Most people don't know this about us, but Chrissy and I were youth pastors, praise and worship, dance ministry. I grew up singing, so before basketball I was in a singing group, a cappella group. So,
Wow.
so I grew up doing that for many years, and we've really been really blessed to make God the center point of our lives, and then try to spread that good news to everybody else. So I think that's kind of been a cool piece and aspect of our lives that's really held us together, held our family together, and then allowed us to minister and mentor other folks that's come in our lives. I mean, all this week, every week we'll have somebody in town. We're talking about this week. We introduced you to one of the Air Force coaches,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Walker. We have all of our friends and our folks that we've trained have followed us. So I tell people I could be anywhere in the country. If there is some mode of transportation to get there, then our guys will be there watching us.
Very interesting. So, what do you wish for your boys and your daughter in the best possible scenario?
Well, that they keep God first, honestly, because that will guide their path the correct way. And that we've planted the seeds enough for them to grow and flourish the way that we know God wants them to grow. We just want them to be, whether that's going to the MBA or becoming a doctor or a scientist or whatever it may be, we just want them to be happy, but to have good character. I think for me, and I know my husband, character is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, your character is what you have. That's what you take with you everywhere. So my best wish for them is to keep their character, remain humble, and then I know that through that, God will bless them beyond anything that they could think or imagine.
I have to echo that. We talk about character every day. We continually hone in on the most important things, which is not basketball to us. People see us, they see us at the gyms, they think, oh, this is our life. It's like, no, it's really not. We enjoy the fact that our kids play the game. They love the game. We put a lot of time in, but them being good people is first.
Yeah.
And I can't say that enough. I mean, I think every parent, because today everybody thinks their kid's going to D1 college, and everybody thinks their kid's going to the NBA, and I'm like, you know what? These colleges and a lot of the scouts and the agents, they care about character first, because there's a lot of great athletes out there that don't have good character. And
So define character. I've heard it defined in a lot of different ways, but how would you define that?
I would define character as having a moral compass, doing for the greater good, conducting yourself in a way that reflects Christ himself. That's for me character. My kid, if they're out and we're not there, I want them to be reflective of who we are as people, but the man upstairs as well too. So always giving back to somebody else, encouraging other folks, and just being a very positive force and light in the community. And so as long as they can do that, hey, I think we're on the right track.
So 4, 5, 6 years from now, what do you see? What's going to be happening in your lives?
4, 5, 6 years from now. 6 years from now, if my kid keeps straight, good character, all those things that we talk about, being a student first, he could be one of these guys that will be at the center stage of this thing we call the NBA. We see that.
And he'll be rich, and you'll be taken care of forever.
A few more years of that, but
I don't know about the taking care of forever, but you know, we always tell him, hey, you know what, your money's yours. If you decide to bless mom and dad, we'll take that. But we see ourselves growing the combine. We see ourselves expanding the brand. I think every community needs a combine, whether it be small, whether it be a big, large facility like we have, or even double that. I see it being a community resource, and I think everyone out there that loves sports, and keep in mind the combine is not just for basketball. We tell people this all the time. We have some of the most exciting technology out there, working with Vert out of Florida, which has done all the testing for volleyball, training for USA Volleyball and vertical jump and all that great stuff. It's a wearable microchip. So we have everything from semaphores, where we do a lot of cognitive training.
Dr. Gorman.
Dr. Peter Gorman with Microgate Technology out of Mopac, New York, one of the world's best designer of the heart rate monitor. So Polar devices, he owns all the patents to that. So there's a lot of different things that we have in the combine. We just say we train athletes. Basketball is kind of the core of the foundation of what we do, but we just train athletes first. Athletes are built, not born.
Well, that's interesting. Athletes are built, not born.
That's correct. Kids are born athletic, but they're not athletes. Athletes, you have to teach them how to become an athlete, right? And that's healthy eating. I think that's character. I think that's everything, and that's what makes an athlete an athlete. People are born athletic, though.
But not everybody's born equal, right?
No. Everybody's not born equal. But some kids are born more athletic than others.
Yeah.
But they're athletic, but they're not athlete. Yeah. Athletes really hone in on training and taking care of themselves and their body and so forth.
So what does it take to the superstars, in any sport? What do they have that the rest of us don't have that made them, at the highest possible level?
Discipline,
yeah. They're relentless. The discipline with superstars is unparalleled. I mean, you take a LeBron James, people say, oh man, he spent $1 million on his body. It's like a drop in the bucket. Like, this guy, he's a machine, and his discipline is crazy. These guys are willing to wake up, early in the morning when everybody wants their rest, and they'll do this all throughout the day, and so forth. And I think that's what really separates them. And as I tell people, even with us, building a business in 4 months, that athlete, we're athletes ourselves. But everybody's not willing to work 19, 20 hours a day. No. So I tell people, it's 4 months, but in the grand scheme, it's like a year, because I'm working 3 days and, 3 shifts in 1 day, right, on the same thing. Right, so really, when you times that, it's like working for a whole year straight.
You're right, yeah.
And that's just a better way to look at it.
Well, working hard obviously is important, but good genes may be important as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
I think some
your kids have a little bit of an advantage, maybe.
Maybe. We hope. We hope so. Genes are very important. But I've seen some little guys that not athletic, don't have parents that play the game, girls and boys, and they're amazing. And they're very disciplined, and they pay close attention to detail. Yeah. That's the difference between somebody that's good and great. The detail level, the details, everything is in the details. And those guys that are great, they just focus on every little nuance, every little detail that nobody else can see. So you look at LeBron and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and you see some of these crazy shots they made in their careers. It's like the detail of it. It's like, wow, never thought about that. Never thought that was even possible.
Yeah.
and then you find out it's possible. So.
My goodness. Well, let's give that address one more time. The address of the Combine is
www.thecombine Las Vegas, and the Combine is TheCombine Las Vegas, and it's at 7260 Dean Martin Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada 89118. There you go.
Yeah, it's brand new.
89118.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got to put the in there. Don't forget now.
Yeah, the Combine.
The Combine, Las Vegas. Well, it's just been delightful. This hour's just gone so fast. We could talk on and on, but
absolutely.
Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I can't wait to see what's going to happen to the Combine in the next few months. It's just going to be fabulous. But make sure you go. You got to go visit this place. Just walk in there and see if Brandon or one of the guys comes out and grabs you and shows you around, and you will absolutely love it. So
thank you so much
again.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you next week, same time, same station. Bye bye, everybody.